Welcome to Lesson 6 in the guidebook unit, If Stones Could Speak. I am Miss Kelly and I'm so excited you're back for another lesson. Are you guys learning anything? Yes, I am too. I love it. I love everything about If Stones Could Speak because it's very interesting to me. It's about these stones that our ancient ancestors built, and they're really trying to tell us a story about who they are and what they're doing. What? Why do I have on glasses? What do you mean, why do I have on glasses? Because I like them. No, really. I have on these glasses because these glasses represent perspective. Now, when I don't have them on, I can see clearly, but when I have them on, everything's green. It's a different perspective. In the book, If Stones Could Speak, the main archaeologist had a friend that he brought back to England to study Stonehenge, and he had a different perspective. He saw it differently. Are there things in your life that if you had a friend look at it or think about it or talk to them about it, maybe they would have a different perspective? Maybe so. Different perspectives can be good. They can even be positive if you get the right people. So keep that in mind as we do our lesson today. We're going to be looking at perspectives. All right. So let me take that outside to see. All right. Let's begin our lesson. Good. Let me come back over here and click on something for you right quick. All right. So we've been spending time reading and identifying important details and the central idea of sections of Archaeology 101. You guys remember that? Archaeology 101 is the information we've been reading. As you can see, mine is annotated. I highlighted all the important details because when you read, that's what you do. Helps in comprehension. All right, so we've been doing that, and we've been talking about the central idea. What is the central idea? And how is central idea related to the main idea? Well, I know the main idea is the main or the important part of a paragraph. But the central idea is going to be the broader message that the author wants you to get from something that you may read that has multiple paragraphs. So keep that in mind. Main idea is one paragraph. Central idea is the bringing together multiple paragraphs. All right. So it says today we're going to write a summary. Do you remember what summary is? Remember I talked about the 12 powerful words? If you have never seen that video, look it up on YouTube. I love it. 12 powerful words. One of those words is summarize. What does summarize mean? Summarize is the short version. That means you take something that may be lengthy like this, and if you summarize it, you can take all these pages down to maybe a couple of sentences. Summarize is the short version. And that's what we're going to do. So we're going to write a summary. We're going to view multiple videos. Well, actually, I'm going to tell you guys to do that on your own. Look up some videos about archaeology. And then we're going to integrate information from the videos and Archaeology 101 to develop a deeper understanding of archaeology. All right. So you're going to need, again, Archaeology 101, which is what we've been reading. You're going to need the summary handout, which is what I'm going to show you. And you're going to need your journal. Yeah, the one you've been drawing in. Yeah, that one. Pull it out, get a pencil, and join me. All right. So, the directions say in a small group, review your partially completed summarizing handout. And we'll talk about that a little bit later. I'll be your small group partner. All right, so let's talk about how to write a summary. It says, 1, you should read the text and identify the main ideas. How do you think, or what do you think is a good way to identify the main ideas? By doing what? Annotating. That's right. Highlighting, underlining. Something that'll help it stand out so you don't have to go back and hunt for it. Some of you guys have even been using your Google Slides, like when you read something and you take the information and type it up in Google Slides. That is a really good way as well. All right, next, number 2. Start your summary by introducing your ideas. So talk about what it is you know, or your perspective. There's that word again. Your what? Your perspective of what you've read. All right, number 3. Take your main ideas and turn them into sentences. I like that. And at this level in 6th grade, we need to be seeing complex sentences. We need to be seeing some positives. We need to be seeing some subordinated conjunctions. We need to see that because you guys know how to do that, right? Right. Give me a thumbs up if you do. All right, very good. Now, number 4, include important details from the text in your main idea sentences. And so the important details we talked about are the things that you pull out from what you're reading. And then use transition words to connect your sentences. I love that. Examples of transition words are in addition, also, moreover, things of that nature. If you need help, you can look up transition words or things like that on Google to kind of help you put your ideas together. All right. So we're going to write a summary of Archaeology 101 in the appropriate section of the handout. Now, we didn't read the whole thing together. We only read like the first 3 sections in all of the whole paper. So we're going to use that information and come up with something. All right. And so this is a time where I would assign you guys on your own to go to YouTube and type in Archaeology 101. Or you could do Archaeology at Stonehenge. Look at some videos and see exactly what these people are doing. They do painstaking work. They spend hours gently digging up artifacts. Remember that word? Artifacts. And they gently dust them. Sometimes they put them on a screen and rinse them with water to remove the debris, to see what's left. They do all kinds of things and processes to make sure they do the best that they possibly can. They even use satellite imagery. They map. They make meticulous notes. They have a job that is very detailed, and I love it. And so because of what they do, we now know so much about China and ancient civilizations. We're so thankful for them because they can help piece together those puzzles and tell that story. All right, and then it says, what are the different layers of soils and what can they teach us? Do you guys remember that? The different layers of soils and what happens at the different layers. And you know, we talked about how if something is preserved in soil and something that doesn't have a lot of air, is not really moist, it will not decay over time. It will be preserved even better. So the different layers of soil tell us about different things. You know, they do a lot of that kind of thing, studying soil, like at places like the Grand Canyon. You guys know they have the different layers. You can see the different layers in the cliffs, and each layer tells a different story, a different time period. They even said that at one time, the river that flows through it was at a much higher elevation, but because of erosion over time, it's worn away the cliffs, and now you see all of that beautiful majesty that is that area. So again, an archaeologist would be someone who studies that. So on your own, this is your assignment. Can I trust you? Put your hand over your heart. Say, I will complete this assignment to the best of my ability. All right, I'm trusting you. I need you to research or watch a video on archaeologists and what they do. Specifically, look at some about archaeologists at Stonehenge. All right, so after you do that, ask yourself, what new information did you learn about archaeology? Just as we've talked and we've read, we know that archaeologists do so many different things. They're very detailed in what they do. It says, what information from this video confirmed what you read in Archaeology 101? Could you tell the different types of archaeologists that were in the video that you saw? Because again, we talked about industrial archaeologists that look at buildings. We talked about environmental archaeologists that help us understand conditions that existed when people being studied were alive. We talked about the underwater archaeologists. They study ships. Does anybody like the Titanic? Me. I love the movie. I love any type of information about it. It fascinates me. Isn't it interesting whenever you see depictions of what the original one looks like? It's like, oh my God. And then you see the images of the underwater version of it now, and it's decaying. And I think they said over time, in a couple of, I don't know how many more years, but it's going to completely just fall apart because it's rusted. And so, you know, archaeologists are trying to gather as much information as they can right now about it. But we can piece together, or at least they can piece together puzzles of what it looked like and how it floated in water based on what's there now. If you've ever seen that movie, The Titanic, it shows you, to the best of their ability, a depiction of it. It was a grand ship. It was beautiful. But to see it now, it would be hard to imagine that. But archaeologists, because of what they do, made us or helped us to see it for what it was. So we're very thankful. All right. So how do archaeologists use the different layers of soil in order to learn more about the past? So as we said earlier, the different layers are different time periods. So different things happen at different time periods. You guys know at one time we were in the ice age, you know, and so right now we're in global warming. So there are going to be differences in the soil based on what's going on with the weather. And so that's going to affect the different ways that the people who were living at that time lived, what they did, how they gathered, what they ate. As a matter of fact, when you read the story about If Stones Could Speak, they talk about what Stonehenge could have been used for and some of the areas that are near it, what they were used for, because they were thinking that it possibly could have been used as a burial site or gathering site. And there was another area close to it that was used for the living. So it was just really, really interesting. I can't wait for you guys to get into this book and read that. But so archaeologists were able to look at the soil and make their determination about the past. All right, so again, when you're watching your video, think about, how do archaeologists do their jobs? We already know that we said that they're very detailed, they're very meticulous, they measure everything, they do it painstakingly. It says, what new details have you learned about the study of archaeology? Do you think it's something you want to do when you grow up? Well, let's do this. Let's ask yourself a question. Do you like to ask a lot of questions? Okay, are you curious about things? Do you want to know or learn about people from the past? Then you may be a good candidate to be an archaeologist. You might want to consider that. It is a really good field to go into. All right, so how does archaeology work? So again, that's something to think about. How does it work? It will begin with focusing on something. Remember they said they're not broad studiers. They focus on something very, very specific. So they pick a time period. They pick a culture. They pick something to focus on, and they go about trying to determine it, or determine the people and what they did, and putting the puzzle together. All right, so in your journal, this is where you get to pull out your journal if you have it. It says, in your field journal, explain how the information from one of the videos that you will be looking at contributes to your understanding of archaeology. So let's just think about what we already said. I love this word explain. I always love to ask my students, so when you see that, what does that mean? Interpret that. Explain. So that means, can you answer this in one sentence? Probably not. When you explain something, you give detail. Think about if you were to break something at home and your mom or your dad or your guardian says, what happened? You know, you're going to try to give details. Say, well, I didn't mean to. It was an accident. I don't know what happened. Yeah, it's details. Think about that. Details. When you explain, give details. And it says, be sure to explain the new information that you learned today and explain how the details from the video supports what you read in Archaeology 101. So again, we had a lot of good information from that, a lot of things to think about as you get ready to write and put your details together. All right, so one thing that we have not done before I complete this is that we have to look at a summary. Remember we said a summary was the what version? The long version or the short version? Short version, very good. It's the condensed and short version of something. So let's look at a summary for Archaeology 101. So let's pull that up. All right, quick. And that'll be our last activity. So let's look and see what a good summary is. Look at this, boys and girls. This is not one sentence, is it? No. Notice you had these details on this side. You had your central idea over here. And so I think what they did, or what you should do, is take all your central ideas and put them in your own words down here in the summary. So do you see how that all works together? If you do the work up front, I love to tell my students this, if you do your details and your work up front, then this part is all about piecing it together. If you work hard now, you can play later. Who likes to play? Miss Kelly loves to play. So let's work hard now so we can play later. So when you write, do all the work up front so that all you're doing is piecing some things together. All right, so let's look at this. Let's look at this summary. Let's see if it makes sense. Archaeology 101 from the Education Department of the Archaeological Institute of America gives important background information to anyone who is trying to learn and understand the science of archaeology. I love that sentence. It's complex, it's lengthy, it's detailed. I love it. It uses commas appropriately. Very good. All right, archaeology is an important and changing study of the humans of the past. I remember that. You guys remember that? That was something that we got from the introduction. So they just pulled it and put it right here. Archaeologists dig in the earth as they search for material culture. Remember, we talked about that. The objects, large and small, that they find to study. Artifacts are only the objects that were created and used by people. I love this. This is a definition. There are many types of archaeologists who all specialize in a specific culture or aspect of life. We talked about that. No matter what type of see, here I go with this word again. Archaeologist, thank you. There is a specific set of steps that are followed by all archaeologists. Archaeologists also use many specific tools in order to study and learn about past cultures, like trowels. Now, we didn't get to that, but this is something you need to know. Trowels, shovels, and compasses. Most archaeologists think keeping a site preserved, there's that word we did talk about, as they carefully excavate, another good word that we learned, to keep the cultural heritage from being destroyed, is one of the most important parts of their job. I love it. It's complex. It's well thought out. It uses the information from our central idea that we did up here, and it's just great. And I know that you guys can do this, right? You can take your time. You can read something. You can get the details, create a central idea, and get a great summary. If you think you can do it, give me a thumbs up. All right. I want to thank you for being with me today. This is the end of my lesson. I just want to say that you're awesome. You're the best. You rock. We can't wait to see you. Have a great day.